Oh, it is just a gorgeous day out today. It's really sunny. You're not on a motorbike, you need.
Thanks, Matt. Welcome to another episode of Rocket Surgery. Today, we're going to talk carbs and how to clean them.
Here's everything that you're going to need to disassemble and clean your carbs. A bucket, pine saw, WD-40, gloves, a tray, a towel, plastic bags, tools, and coffee. Coffee's optional but highly recommended. Alright, so the first thing we're going to start doing is disassembling everything. I've got my two bags over here, and one carb is going to go into one bag, the other carb is going to go into the other. We'll get this fuel line out of the way. A lot of times you end up having to use something to kind of wedge up a bit on the line to pull it off. If you can get it to twist, a lot of times it'll come off. This one's not going. A flathead screwdriver, we'll let you pry it up like that. Just gives you a little extra push. Go ahead, take these screws off. You can see there's the spring, there's the cap. Cap's going to go in the bucket because it's going to be cleaned. The spring, the bolts, going to go into one of the bags. And we're going to do that for every part. Off of this carb, everything's going to go into that one bag. Okay. When you're pulling everything apart, you want to look to make sure nothing's damaged or ruined. This is in really good condition. So this one won't quite fit into a bag, so I'm going to set it apart. Just be very careful and be aware of where it's at. Now, see, there's this little ring here. This is what actually seals it. This is going to go in the bag. Well, same thing just as above, just disassemble. Now you see, this is like an accelerator pump, if I remember correctly. And that's one, we're not going to mess with that. It should just come off all as one unit with this base. We're going to leave that one alone. You're going to want to leave this screw alone. Don't touch that either. This guy's in the way, so we'll see if we can back him out. This is just your idle. That's your idle screw. Okay, we'll set that right there. Anything funky, anything going on, any weirdness in there? There's a little bit of gunk. You can see that. But this is looking pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and put this guy, we'll pull this O-ring out very carefully if we can. It looks like it's sealed in. I'm not too worried about it. See, we're working on this little guy right there. Okay. So that's being really difficult. I don't know why that is. So in this situation, the best thing to do is just leave that alone and just be very careful. These are your jets. We want to clean those out, so we're going to leave them in the body. Some people might disagree with that, but these come off a running bike that runs pretty well, but it is spring, so I want to clean them. So I'm going to go ahead and disassemble the other side of the carbs, put everything in the bucket. We'll go on to the next step. On to the next part. See, this is where it gets really easy. I've got all my carb parts in. Going to pour a bit of pine sol, about a third of the bottle or more, less, whatever you like. There's no real rules. And we're just going to fill the rest of this up with water, let it soak. I'm dead serious. That's all we're doing. This is about the easiest way to clean carbs possible, and it's incredibly effective. I've used this quite a few times on carbs. It works great every time. So fill this up with water, let it sit for about a day or two, and then we'll go from there. That is quite literally it. We're gonna let this sit for a day, 2 days, and go from there. Pull everything out and clean it up. Now, this is where it gets a little messy, and that's why you want a tray with a towel. So we're gonna bring this guy over, get everything situated, as you can see what's about to happen. All right, move all this stuff out of the way. Now, you're gonna pull everything out piece by piece and set it to dry. The pine saw does all the work, dissolves almost all the crap that's in there, if not all of it. I really like this method. I've used it quite a few times with great success. If you've got some paper towels or a couple shop towels, this will help just dry everything out a little faster. Take your can WD-40 and just lightly spray everything down. You can see here all these passages. You're going to squirt WD-40 into each and every hole, and it's going to squirt out in some very awkward places. So just be ready for it. This is also a good way to check to see if anything's clogged, because you'll actually see it squirt through. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. There is one last thing you need, and that's heavy-duty spray silicone. Take your slides and just give them a quick light coat. Don't be crazy. And then set that aside. You do that on both of those. And just let it dry. Assembly is just the reverse of disassembly. Gently slide that in. As you can see, there's that ring that your that's your needle. You need it to fall right into that hole there. That's going to drop down just like that. Don't force anything back together with your carbs. You want it to just go together smooth, nice and even, easy peasy. There's your spring going back on. This guy goes back on. Right, if you want, you can give the interior here a little coat. Turn it around a little bit. Set it on. Grab our screws and just hand tighten these on. So we're just doing everything hand tight right now. So see on this one, there's a little bit of grinding there. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I know it's on the left side, so I'm going to keep an eye on that, see if it gets worse over time. Carbs at times can feel like black magic. You know, you feel like you can do the same thing and then it works. Flip it over. I'm going to do the bottom. I always use a sealant when I put my O-rings in. I use high tack. Brush it on, you let it dry, you brush it onto both surfaces, and then you stick them together after they dry and it seals. This is the side with the accelerator pump. We know it goes on this side here. Dos trace. Tighten them down. If you've got a tough running bike, or if it's a bike that you just bought, first thing you should do is clean the carbs. So this is our throttle control, so we're just going to put this in until it seats. That's it, they're done. Easiest way to clean carbs in the world. We'll go outside, we'll throw these on the bike.
So now, of course, the question is, after all that, did it work? Let's find out. It's a little cold today, so I'm going to need some choke. that brings me to my next point, tuning your carbs.